Let's see, it looks like we have a few of you have been waiting for a few minutes. Thanks for doing that. If you could just drop me a quick the Wall Side 2 song. That's some good music right there, Mislav. So that's what's been keeping you occupied while you wait for me to go live. Is that right?
What have we here, laddie? Mysterious scribblings? A secret code?
There is somebody out there, and I am out here today. It looks like we've got 3 folks out there that are going to pop in. We're going to give people a few minutes to get in here before we get started. Show you some of the views we have set up. We've got this view here so that we can do some over-the-top stuff here. I've got a nice side-by-side view that you've seen here. Here's another screen that I have for you. Another screen I have set up is this one. This should be fun. This is my split screen, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Yep, both the producers are here. Welcome, producers. So you, as I told Mislav in the Buy Me a Coffee comments, you guys are technically my bosses if I make you producers, but don't let it go to your head, right? The plan for today is to do a little upgrading. We're going to hopefully have some fun and upgrade one of these and another device very similar to that to version 1.6.1 and try a few things and see what's new about it. I know there's a new game, some new hardware support. I have a package here that came from, if you can see this, let's see. This is from Bob's Bits. From the United Kingdom. So this made its way over the pond. This is going to be a fun little thing. So let me go to our side-by-side here. And what I want to do is open this for you and then talk about why I have that. But I got to be careful though. I want to be very careful here because what's inside, I definitely don't want to scratch. And let's see if this will open up now. Nice. So the first thing is I'm going to take a few of these bags out of here and just put them aside so that we can see those a little bit here. Later, we'll come back to these in just a second. Tindie, right here, you can see that from Tindie, and it is very good looking. Man, this thing looks nice. So here's what we have. Right there. How about that? So what we are looking at here, and let me turn it around for you, right there, is a new motherboard for a VIC20 called the TheVIC20. And it is a duplicate of the most recent VIC20. Here, let me bring up, I'll tell you what, we can make this a little interesting for you, a little interactive. Here is the actual post for it right here. I did get one. $35 seemed very reasonable for this. Somebody spent a lot of time redesigning this VIC20 motherboard, so I just really thought it was worth it. And one of the things you'll notice on the webpage here is that you can also get a new set of resistors. You can get a resistor pack. You can get a new power switch right here. And you can get capacitors. And of course, I just loaded it up. I just put everything. But even with all of that, you'll see that the cost is only $53, which I just thought, look at this thing. It is a beautiful piece of work, isn't it? I love the blue. It's really nice and modern. And so why do I have that? Well, that's a good question. Let me tell you why I have that, and I kind of alluded to it. I have, long ago, what was the date on this blog post? This was, This was back in 2017. I made this purchase on eBay right here. Look at these guys. This was 4 untested, and yeah, they were untested, trust me. 4 untested VIC20 computers. Out of all of those, I was able to get one to work, kind of. And I say kind of because while it does turn on, cartridges are hit and miss, and it's a little flaky. So my thought was, I'm not gonna touch that one. That one's working. It's working pretty well. But with the other 3, can I get enough components out of there with this and get at least another one of those working? There is a keyboard issue with one. It's just shot, but I've been doing some testing. So that's going to be a little project. And this was, I have to tell you, this was a great lot. I think, did I say how much I got this for? $145 plus 59, so about 200 bucks. And that was kind of my budget. I thought, you know, 4 unworking VIC20s along with all of this software, 2 data sets, a 1541 was included in there, which I've yet to try that, but that's next. That's going to be down on the list too. But all the manuals, all the software, it was in a couple of cartridges, which I just thought, you know it's untested, but if I can get one of those and all of that for $200, that's not a bad deal. The decision will be, do I whiten one of them and which model do I pick? If you look at these are from a lot of different periods of time. You can see that based on that. So what did I get? What else did I get with this? Well, you get the board, and then as I mentioned, I did get the capacitors. You can see a bag of caps here, right there, that'll be with it. So that'll be on there. We also have all of the resistors that we need here, which is nice. And then inside here, let's see what we have. This should be the power switch, which I probably could have used one of the ones on the other one, but I chose not to do that. Decided to just use this one right here, since they sent, I think it was $3, something like that. It was really inexpensive for them just to go ahead and send a power switch that works. So here's what that looks like. And you see it's a good rocker power switch, just like what we're used to right here. Probably got a good sound to it. Let's see. Yep. So that's our little surprise as part of the live stream today is the VIC20 motherboard from Tindie right there for total shipping and everything. Not bad. $77.50 to get it across the pond. So that's not bad at all. So I'm looking forward to that. That will be a project that I will document as I do it. Maybe Sunday as I'm working on it, maybe I'll do a live stream if you think that's something that would be interesting. So this is the TheC64 Mini. I have one of these, and I've had this was the very first one I bought. And of course, we all know the Mini doesn't have a keyboard that works. Hey, Mislav, thank you. So, which chat did you choose? Critical hit. Oh, I love that. That's a good one. Thank you for that. That was so kind of you, Mislav. Thanks so much. And I know I don't have to say it. You keep telling me quit. I don't have to say it, but I'm always going to say thank you. Let's get back to the task at hand. So the other device. Now here's the one that people always ask me about. So we know we have the TheC64 Mini. I don't have a Maxi, but I do have. Check this out. I love this device. I'm going to go full screen because I just really love this device here. This is, and you may not know, this is the TheVIC20. See this? Check this out. Check this guy out. The TheVIC20. These were in Europe. They're available in Europe. I just covet this thing because, again, the TheVIC20 was my very first computer. And ever since the TheC64 came out, I said, why didn't they start with a TheVIC20 or even a PET? But I get the PET thing because it's got the screen. But why didn't they start out with the TheVIC20? And then later, they did come out with this one. These have been very hard to find. I think in Europe, if you're in Europe, you can probably find them at some stores, but in the United States, very hard. How did I come about this? I wish I could tell you that somebody sent this to me. They didn't. I had to hunt for this on my own. I had a couple of alerts in Amazon, and at one point in Amazon, there was about a 2-day window where this thing popped up as available in the United States. It was gone after I placed my order. It was gone like within an hour. I just got into this great window. And again, I just love the look. It's the TheVIC20. It's got the great brown buttons here. And even in Europe, they're getting harder and harder to find. So I think they probably did a round of these. Collectors got them, folks that were fans of the TheVIC20, but the TheC64 is really their bread and butter. And now, hopefully you all know there's an A500 coming out, which that comes into play now with what we're going to talk about with the upgrade of the firmware to version 1.6.1. We're going to start with the Mini because that'll be a little bit easier for me to move around. I do have everything right here that I need. So let me go ahead and go back to here because now that we have a smaller area, and this thing is just so tiny. I also have a TheC64 Joystick here, as most of you know, but you'll see this is USB, as we know. And this is kind of nice. If you don't know, you can use this on a regular computer. I've done that, and it works really great with Vice. You don't need to buy one of these to buy one of these. These can be had separately. So if you just want a good joystick with Vice, you can get these. This is an older model. Hear that? It's not the model that's being sold now. The model that's being sold now has this, has these wonderful mechanical clicks. So you definitely want that. Again, that's the TheVIC20 version, right? So you can buy I haven't found this one that you could buy by itself either. Okay, let's go ahead and plug this in right here. We're going to do the HDMI first, and I do have this plugged into the YOLO box, which is really kind of nice. And then I have a USB already pre-prepared here. We're going to go ahead and plug that in. I want the VIC20 with the nice mechanical switches. That's what I want. So I'm going to plug this one in. Let me go ahead and change a few things. The first thing I want to do is I want to go to System Information. And it looks like the last version I have updated on here is 1.4.2. That's behind. So this one's going to get a great update. So let's find out how we can get that update done. Now this is going to be fun because if you look at the upgrade paths, this Mini is 1.4.2. It has not been upgraded since 1.4.2. You can tell I spend more time with the VIC20. So it's going to get a huge upgrade. So how do we get that upgraded? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to download the bin file. So we're going to hit download there. So the company is hosting this on Google Drive. You do go ahead and hit download. There we go. And that should be in my download folder. So I'm going right there, the bin. See that file right there? We're going to drag that. I'm just going to drag that to my desktop first because I want you to see that. Okay, now it is a bin file, so we just leave it alone at this point. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a USB drive. Now this is the USB drive I have prepared for my TheVIC20 and Mini. It's got a bunch of software on here, so you're going to see a lot of other things on here. We're going to go ahead and plug that in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this, and let me go ahead and you can kind of see the files that are on here, right here. You'll see that I have a firmware updates folder that has all the other updates that I've done, except for the 1.5, which is interesting. I don't know why I never put that on there. Those are just backups. But what you need to do is not put it in that folder. That's just a backup folder for me. And I'm going to drag it to the root right here. Okay. So, here's the last one that was on here. So here it is right here. So I just need to drag this up here in my archive folder. So there we have it. Now we have all of them. And for some reason, I've just always kept those. I think if we just mess around a little bit with the file name, we can get an older one to load if we ever needed to do that. So now that file is on the root of the USB drive. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm going to eject. So now let's go over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my USB drive. And you just need to plug it into any USB port. And on the Mini, we have one here, and I think that's it. Yeah. So the Mini only has two. And that's one of the limitations of the Mini. Go ahead and plug this in here right now. Okay, so now I've put that in. Now when we do that, if I come back over here and I go back to my menu, you'll notice right here that we have a USB drive has been inserted. So what we're supposed to get our Commodore 1351 mouse support to the C64. So that's interesting because obviously there's no way to plug one of those into the Mini because there's no 8-pin DIN. So what they're talking about is adding support for an emulation of 1351. Add supports for up to 4 joysticks. Well, that's going to be a problem with the Mini because there aren't that many ports. So you would evidently have to get a hub. You also are going to get support for the mouse. The mouse is the mouse that's going to come with the A500. It's a really cool 1351 mouse, 2 buttons. It looks sweet. It's USB, so you will be able to use it on a regular computer. So if you got a PC at work or a Windows machine or a Mac, you could do that. You can use it. That's going to be kind of cool. It also has support for the GamePad, which is part of the Amiga CD32 package. So then the other thing that we have is adds a new game called Space Lords, a multiplayer game that utilizes the new mouse and the multi-joystick. So we're going to take a look at that. What we do now is once we have the USB device with the firmware, you go to your settings, you go to System Information, and it'll show you this screen right here that says Firmware Update Found 161. Do you wish to upgrade? And of course, my current version is 1.4.2. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit apply, and it doesn't really take a long time. And we'll wait for it to do its thing. And you can see the screen here is going to show the bits flying over from the USB drive to the C64 Mini. Oh, wow, look at that. We are already done. Check that out. So we are in. So let's verify that we have an upgrade here to, let's go here. And oh yeah, so you can see right now, we already have a large number of new menu items. We have computer model, and you'll see that we have C64, PAL, and NTSC. Now it's important to note that the C64 Mini does not support the VIC20 mode. That's unfortunate. You have to have a Maxi or a TheVIC20. Again, that is kind of unfortunate. So we do have boot mode. We can now boot to Carousel or Classic, which is really nice. That's good. We have our USB keyboard. We can choose what that is. You can see we got a lot of updates for this one. Here's our system information. You can see no software updates because we've already done that. We can switch to Classic mode. When we do that, it'll automatically boot to C64 mode. So let's go ahead and see if we can change that image here. So let's go to so let's exit the Carousel mode. Let's go down here. Let's change that display, and let's get rid of scan lines because I kind of like the. Let's do North America. There we go. Go back here, and let's go ahead, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to switch to Classic mode. There we go. So that's a little cleaner. Now, some of you may like the scan lines, so that's good. Okay, so now let's go back to options. Let's switch back and exit to Carousel mode. And one of the things I noticed is I do have some new games here that were not included on the older firmware. So that's kind of nice. So the one, oh, here's what's TheC64 Hall of Fame. And massive thanks to all of you who influenced and backed TheC64. Look at that. What happens if I click that? Let's see what we get here. All right, let's go back and let's exit that game. So what we are looking for, though, is there is a new game. We are looking for a game called Space Lords. So let's go back and see if we can find Space Lords. There it is, right there. Space Lords, right there. So we hit that. A multiplayer action party game. So this is designed for, you know, a bunch of people. You can have a name here. You can choose the name. That's kind of cool. We'll do that. And you can see this is moving here. I will give you just a little bit of sound. So that's kind of fun, right? And then as you plug in, now this is supposed to support mouse and up to 4 joystick. Now my guess is it will. So let's go ahead and let's go back here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the C64 Mini, and let's go ahead and get this one out, this one out. Now we're going to go to the Maxi. But in case you just joined us, we're not talking the C64 Maxi. We're talking about the VIC20, the beautiful TheVIC20. Isn't that thing just gorgeous? I just love this thing. And let's go ahead and plug in, first of all, our HDMI. And of course, everything's upside down on this thing. That's just the way it goes. We will go ahead and plug in the USB drive to the back of this one because there's plenty of extra ports. Okay, so here we have that, and then I'm going to plug in the joystick on the side. All right, and let's see if we can get this one upgraded. And I think I have this one booting right into the VIC20 mode, which is kind of fun. So let me go ahead and go back to picture-in-picture, and let's go ahead and turn this on. So what we want to do now is we're not going to turn on the sound, and we're going to upgrade the VIC20 to version 1.6.1. And we can do some of those fun things that we like to do. Of course, we like to do this a lot around here. And we can hit 20, and we can, we can hit 20, but we need a statement after that, don't we? So there we go. And then we run that, and of course, it just runs like a VIC20, which is great. And of course, the other thing that we have is if we hit this, you see that we have media access, and we can actually pull up disk images from the USB, which is really kind of cool. I like that. Okay, so let's get this one updated. So let's come back in here. We're going to go back to options. And then what I'm going to do is come down to device settings, and we're going to go system information. It's automatically going to pop up that screen. Now, again, that screen pops up because we have that version 1.6.1 on the root directory of the USB drive. So we're going to hit apply. And as you'll see, it takes hardly any time to upgrade. And then we're going to try the same thing we did with the VIC20 or the C64, where I was not successful because I had the sound on. And we got issues. Pretty quick, isn't it? See those bits screaming? Hey, we got 10 of you. Good to have you all here. If you have not chatted, while we're upgrading the firmware, please do that. Drop your name in the chat. Let us know you're here, just like Florian just did a few minutes ago with a nice Guten Abend from Germany. Good to have our European folks here with us. Look, we're done. In the time it took for me to welcome somebody, this thing is already updated. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to go back to options, and we're going to exit the carousel mode right here. And then we're going to look for the game Space Lords. So looks like some of the title cards have changed too. Looks like they've upgraded them. Admittedly, I didn't think we would get another upgrade for these machines. I thought version 1.5 was it. And so I was super excited when I saw 1.6 to know that they are continuing to upgrade these, because it's probably been a year since we had an upgrade. So I'm super excited to see that they are continuing to update these devices, but also to update these devices so that they can use devices from their next devices like the mouse and the controller. So that's really kind of cool. So let's go back into here to see if the mouse that's going to come on the A500 is just a standard USB mouse. Now, if I plug this in, my hope is that we can use it like a mouse in this game Space Lords, which is supposed to be supported by this game. So then we're going to load the game up right here. Okay, now before, what happens is it looks for a click on a device to kind of get you into the game, right? So if I come in with the joystick here and I hit button, watch what happens. You'll see I get number 2 over there on the left, the lower left. Notice that. Now, my hope is when I click this one right here, I come in with that one. So again, this is number 1. It's seeing this as port 1. Again, it looks like it's registering the click. Let's see if it's actually going to let us use it as part of the game, because this game is supposed to support going left and right. It's not absolutely a perfect test of whether the mouse is a standard USB mouse, but it's probably not bad because it should, right? All right, so then I'm going to hit enter again and enter again and enter. And let's see if we get any kind of activity on the mouse. We do not. Is the joystick working? See, the joystick is working. Okay, so initially I did not think that the mouse worked, and we ran some tests and it didn't, but in the chat room, Jonathan Taylor was nice enough to say he tried a Raspberry Pi mouse and got it to work. So that got me curious, could I get it to work, this mouse that I had? Because this is just a cheap mouse. This should work. So let's see if Jonathan's information about getting this to work is accurate. Let's go ahead and run back over here to our TheVIC20 is what I'm using right now, and we are going to load Space Lords. Now, what we're going to do is look at it cycle through its information. And if you look, it says a multiplayer action party game, but keep looking. And it says port 1 and 2 is the 1351 mouse or Atari. It says Amiga mouse or joystick or keyboards on port 1 through 4. Now watch this next one. Move your controller while holding fire. So here's what we're going to do, and of course have fun. So what I want to do is I'm going to try and push this button and move the mouse and see if it registers. Before, all I was doing was hitting the button. It looks like the game wants to try and identify the location or the type of mouse by that click and hold and move. So let's go back and try that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and move my mouse. You can hear it on the table. And you'll see, check that out. You see the little circle now is moving so that I can add my initials. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just do retro and combs, and we'll do a space. You see I can move up and down, which is nice. I can score high, live long, or play once. Let's live long. Let's do that. And then you'll see that it is working as I move the mouse right and left. So the mouse actually does work. So probably the mouse is in fact actually just a standard USB mouse. You know, this is quite a good game playing this with the mouse. Jonathan, I have to tell you, you are the rock star of the day, and you win my award for Retro Computing Genius for this Sunday. I mean, this is amazing. Thanks for doing the extra work, pulling out your Raspberry Pi mouse and responding in chat, letting me know that, hey, dude, you want to recheck that. You want to fix that. your information is inaccurate, but it is working really well. I love playing this game. Again, this is kind of a clone of Warlords, but it plays really well, and I think that is a good indication that when we get the A500 with the included TheMOUSE and TheController, that we should be able to even use that TheMOUSE right here on a regular PC. And I think that will just be a blast to have that connected to your PC or Mac and giving a little feel of retro to your modern computer. So again, I really need to send a huge thanks out to Jonathan in chat, who let me know that. Jonathan's last name is Taylor. So Jonathan Taylor, again, wins the award for most valuable chatter in the live stream today. So thanks for doing that. So very glad that that works. I do want to see if we can get a couple of them working here. Let me go ahead and exit the game right here. I'm going to load it back up, and then I'm going to see if I can get both the mouse and the joystick working. So if I click and hold and move the mouse, or the joystick, if I click and hold, there we go. So that one's working, and then I click the mouse button and move around. That one works too. So now we have both of them working at the same time. So we can get some serious two-player mode action going on. And of course, the nice thing about this device, the TheVIC20, is there's a couple more joystick ports and you can use a keyboard. So with this setup, you could easily play a game with 4 players playing this Warlord clone, which just looks like a lot of fun. Great party game. Great addition. So obviously version 1.6.1 is a great upgrade for your TheVIC20, which I have down here, or your TheC64 Mini. You're going to be upgrading it to the point where you're going to add a new game, but you're also probably going to get rid of some bugs, and you're also going to add features so that you can use the mouse and the controller when the A500 is released. All right, that concludes this live stream for sure this time. So I want to thank all of you that joined me live, but I also want to thank those of you that are watching this edited version of the live stream. A lot of good information in here. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you want to see the entire live stream, that's available to my supporters. All you have to do is go to Buy Me a Coffee and support the channel. But many of you, and the reason I'm doing that is I think many of you really want this compressed, and that doesn't require anything to enter to see that. So I think that's fair for everybody. So thanks for joining, and at this time, retroCombs out.